Welcome to a deep dive into Defection.
Ooh, Defection by Jerry Bader.
Yeah, have you heard of this one?
I have, actually. Yeah, it's been on my list for a while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this is an espionage novel.
Espionage, my favorite.
Yeah. So, we're going to be looking at some excerpts from the book and kind of exploring the world of spies.
Betrayal.
Betrayal, for sure.
Yeah.
And even how art can be used as a tool in the world of intelligence gathering.
Yeah, one of the things that really struck me about this book was it takes like the classic spy tropes and just turns them on their head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you've got double agents, you've got international intrigue.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, mole hunts. But Bader, like, weaves in these complex characters and these thought-provoking themes that just elevate it beyond a simple thriller.
So it's got some depth to it.
Yeah, it really does. It makes you think.
Okay, well, let's start with our main character, Harry.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. The excerpts you provided paint him as this brilliant but somewhat restless intelligence analyst for British intelligence, MI6.
Yes, Harry's stuck behind a desk, analyzing data, just longing for a taste of the action.
I can relate to that.
Right. He's got this incredibly vivid imagination, which is both his strength and his weakness,
How so?
Well, it allows him to see these connections that others might miss, but it also makes him prone to suspecting conspiracies everywhere.
So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Exactly. He's constantly searching for a puzzle to solve. A mystery to unravel. But does his imagination lead him down the wrong path sometimes?
That's the big question, right?
That is the question. It hangs over the entire story.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, is Harry onto something real, or is he letting his imagination just run wild?
And that's what keeps you reading.
And that's what makes him such a compelling character. You're never quite sure if you can fully trust his perceptions.
Right. And then we have the introduction of not one, but two.
Oh, yes.
Intriguing female characters, Harriet and Rita Daveed.
Right, and here's where Bader throws in a classic spy novel twist.
Okay, lay it on me.
Harriet and Rita are actually the same person.
What?
Yeah.
So she's like a double identity.
She's an Israeli Mossad agent.
Oh.
Operating under two identities, adding this whole other layer of deception and mystery to the story.
Right from the start.
Right from the get-go.
Wow. Okay, so we have Harry, the restless analyst, drawn to this woman who might be playing him.
Classic recipe for trouble.
Yeah, especially in the world of espionage.
Exactly. And the trouble escalates quickly.
Of course it does.
When Rita, a.k.a. Harriet, is kidnapped...
Oh, no!
This event thrusts Harry into this high-stakes game where the lines between truth and deception become increasingly blurred.
Kidnapping, that'll definitely raise the stakes.
Oh, yeah.
What's the motive behind it, though?
Well, the excerpts point to a mole codenamed Dragonfly.
Dragonfly. I like it.
Who has been leaking sensitive information to the Chinese Ministry of State Security, or MSS.
Oh, so this is some high-level stuff.
High-level stuff. It seems Rita might have stumbled onto something that could expose Dragonfly's identity.
Ooh, so she's getting a little too close to the truth.
A little too close for comfort.
So we have the classic mole hunt.
You got it.
And it always makes you wonder, who can you actually trust?
Right, who can you trust?
In this line of work. But who is Dragonfly?
Well, we do find out.
Okay.
And it's a shocker.
I bet it is.
It turns out to be Alice May.
No way.
Chief of Staff for the head of MI6.
Oh my gosh.
Someone in a position of immense power and trust betraying her country from within.
Wow. That's a betrayal on a whole other level.
It really is.
What would drive someone to do that, to betray their own country like that?
You see, Alice's case illustrates something that's sadly all too common among moles.
Okay, what's that?
Deep resentment rooted in some perceived injustice.
Okay.
For Alice, it's personal. Her motivation stems from her mother's past grievances against the British government.
So it's like a generational thing.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that espionage isn't just about abstract ideologies or geopolitical maneuvering.
Right.
It's often fueled by very human emotions like anger and the desire for revenge.
So we've got a vengeful mole selling secrets to the Chinese.
That's right.
But who's on the receiving end of this information? Like, is there a specific Chinese character?
Yes, there is.
That we should be paying attention to?
The excerpts introduce us to Yang Hu.
Yang Hu.
An MSS agent who operates under several Italian aliases.
Okay.
Often choosing the names of strong historical women who fought back against injustice.
Interesting.
It's a fascinating detail that hints at her complex character and perhaps even foreshadows her own actions later in the story.
It sounds like she's not just a one-dimensional villain.
No, not at all.
But someone with a story of her own.
Definitely.
A reason for choosing this path.
Exactly. And her chosen alias in the excerpts, Artemisia Gentileschi, is particularly intriguing.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
She was a Baroque painter, known for depicting powerful women and scenes of revenge. It's a subtle detail that Bader uses to suggest Yang Hu's own desire to break free from constraints and seek her own form of justice.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really well done.
So we have Alice the Vengeful Mole and Yang Hu the Chinese spy with a hidden agenda.
It's shaping up to be quite the story.
How do these two connect? What's the link between them?
That's where the art comes in.
Wait, art?
Yes, art.
How does that work?
Well, the excerpts reveal that art is being used as a tool for both deception and espionage.
Hold on. Art, like paintings, sculptures, that kind of art?
Exactly that kind of art.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, Yang Hu, using one of her aliases, creates these paintings that are sold for just exorbitant prices.
Oh, wow.
And these sales are then funneled through Alice May's mother, Dorothy.
Okay, so it's all connected.
It's all connected. This clever scheme allows them to launder money and fund their intelligence operation, all under the guise of the art market.
Wow, that's brilliant. Using art as a cover for illicit activities. It's like hiding in plain sight.
It's exactly hiding in plain sight. And it adds this whole other layer of complexity to the story, blurring the lines between genuine artistic expression and calculated deception.
It makes you wonder how much of what we see in the art world is actually driven by hidden agendas.
It really does. It's a question that makes you look at art in a whole new light.
It's a bit unsettling, actually.
It can be.
But if Alice is driven by revenge, what about Yang Hu?
Good question.
What's her endgame?
Here's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The excerpts suggest that Yang Hu is starting to question her role in the MSS.
So she's having second thoughts.
She's sensing danger, perhaps realizing that she's become expendable to her superiors. There's even a hint that she might be considering defection.
Wait, defect. The enemy spy wants to switch sides.
It's a twist, isn't it?
That's a huge twist.
It raises so many questions. Can she be trusted? What are her true motives? Is this genuine or just another layer of deception? Bader keeps you guessing, constantly challenging your assumptions.
It sounds like Harry's in a very precarious position. He's caught between a vengeful mole, a potentially double-crossing enemy agent, and a shadowy figure pulling the strings from the shadows. Mei Long.
Yes, Mei Long remains an enigma throughout the excerpts.
So we still don't know much about him.
Not much at all.
But they're obviously a key player.
A shadowy figure whose true intentions are never fully revealed, but it's clear they hold a significant amount of power and influence. They are the puppet master orchestrating this intricate game of espionage.
So we have this web of intrigue, betrayal, and a mysterious figure at the center of it all. This is getting good.
It is.
What happens next?
Well, that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of this deep dive.
Oh man, you're killing me.
We'll explore how Harry navigates this treacherous landscape, the consequences of Yang Hu's potential defection, and the ultimate price of uncovering the truth in a world where nothing is what it seems.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into Defection, where we'll uncover more twists and turns, delve deeper into the characters' motivations, and explore the lasting implications of their actions.
And in the meantime, consider this. If you were in Harry's position, could you tell who to trust? And what would you be willing to risk to expose the truth?
That's a great question.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About the choices we make and the lines we're willing to cross.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that until next time.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Defection. Last time we left off with Harry trying to figure out who to trust.
Yeah, it's a real tangled web, isn't it?
Yeah, mole hunt, double agents, mysterious puppet master.
And don't forget the art.
Oh, right, the art.
It's not just a pretty backdrop in this book.
Yeah, you're right. It plays a pretty significant role.
It's like a whole other layer of the espionage game.
A secret language, almost.
Yeah, exactly. A secret language that only certain characters can understand.
We were talking about Yang Hu, the MSS agent.
Right.
And how she uses art as a cover.
It's so clever the way she does it.
Yeah, incredibly clever. And it really speaks to the level of deception in this world.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, remember how she chooses those Italian aliases?
Oh, yeah.
Each one representing a strong, rebellious woman from history.
It's like she's drawing strength from them, you know?
Yeah, like she's channeling their spirit into her own actions.
Exactly.
That detail about her choosing the name Artemisia Gentileschi.
Oh, the Baroque painter.
Yeah, the one known for depicting strong women seeking revenge. It really stuck with me.
Me too.
It's like foreshadowing, don't you think?
Definitely it hints that Yang Hu is more than just a pawn in someone else's game.
Right. She's got her own agenda.
Her own desires, her own sense of justice.
Maybe even a need to break free.
Oh, absolutely. She's not content to just follow orders.
It makes you wonder if her art, even when it's being used for espionage, is also a form of personal expression.
That's a good point. It could be her way of reclaiming her own narrative.
So how does all of this tie into the larger plot?
Well, remember that mysterious artist we talked about?
Gianna Bizzuto.
Yeah, the one whose paintings are fetching these crazy high prices.
Right, like millions of dollars.
It's very likely that Yang Hu is the one creating those pieces.
Hold on, so she's a forger too?
It seems so.
That's impressive. But why go through all that trouble?
It's all about moving money, creating a financial smokescreen.
Okay, I'm listening.
The art sales, facilitated through Alice May's mother, Dorothy, create this seemingly legitimate way to funnel funds.
And fuel their operation.
Exactly. It's like a shell game. But instead of cups and a ball, they're using priceless works of art.
It's genius, really.
Bader's use of art in Defection isn't just a plot device.
It's more than that.
It's a metaphor for the way things are never quite what they seem in the world of espionage.
Right, like you can't always trust what you see.
You have to look deeper, question everything.
It makes you wonder how much of the art market, or any market for that matter, is driven by these hidden agendas.
It's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
It is. It makes you realize that deception can be found in the most unexpected places, even those associated with beauty and creativity.
Speaking of unexpected, let's talk about Mei Long.
Yes. Mei Long, we still don't have a clear picture of who they are.
The puppet master.
Pulling the strings from the shadows.
And that ambiguity is what makes them so fascinating.
Right.
The excerpts give us hints, but never a full reveal.
It's like a puzzle with a missing piece.
Exactly. We have all these clues about the other characters and their motives, but without understanding Mei Long's role, the full picture remains elusive.
And that's what keeps you hooked.
That's the brilliance of Bader's writing. He keeps you guessing, constantly encouraging you to connect the dots, question assumptions, and try to piece together the puzzle yourself.
Even with all the intrigue and deception, though, Defection doesn't lose sight of the human element.
Oh, absolutely not.
These aren't just pawns in a global game. They're people with desires, fears, vulnerabilities.
You're absolutely right. Bader takes these classic spy archetypes and gives them real depth.
Like Harry, for instance.
Yeah.
He's not just some stereotypical restless analyst.
He's more than that.
He's got this internal struggle with his imagination, his yearning for something more, his emotional connections.
All of that makes him so much more compelling.
And the women in Defection, they're not one-dimensional either.
Not at all. They're intelligent, resourceful, driven.
Harriet or Rita.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, she really is a master of disguise, a skilled operative.
And fiercely loyal.
But she's also carrying this past trauma.
That shapes her actions.
And then there's Alice May the Mole.
Driven by a need for revenge.
It shows that even the most ruthless acts can be rooted in this very human desire for justice.
Even if it's twisted.
Right.
And then there's Yang Hu, a skilled spy and forger trapped in a system she despises.
Using her art to survive.
And maybe even escape.
So even in this world of spies and double agents,
it's the human element that drives the story forward.
Those basic desires for love, justice, freedom.
Exactly. Defection reminds us that even in the darkest corners of the intelligence world, human emotions and motivations are what truly shape the narrative.
And that's what makes it so compelling.
It sounds like the excerpts you've shared set the stage for a pretty dramatic confrontation.
Oh yeah, things are about to heat up.
Can you give us a sneak peek at what's to come in the final part of our deep dive?
I don't want to spoil too much, but let's just say that the climax of Defection brings all these elements together.
Ooh.
In a breathtaking showdown.
I can't wait.
Loyalties are tested, secrets are revealed, and the consequences of betrayal are laid bare.
Sounds intense.
It is buckle up. Okay, we are back for the final part of our deep dive into Defection.
The moment of truth.
It is, we have uncovered so much already. Art, espionage, double agents, a mole, and of course the mysterious Mei Long.
So many threads.
So many threads. I'm dying to know how it all comes together.
Well, get ready because it sounds like the climax is going to be explosive.
Give me the good stuff.
But everything we've talked about leads to this carefully orchestrated plan to expose Alice and take down the whole operation.
High stakes.
Incredibly high.
What's Harry's role in all this?
This is where Harry's unique approach to espionage really comes into play.
Okay.
He's not your typical by-the-book agent.
We know that.
He understands that to catch someone like Alice, you have to play a different game.
So what does he do? Does he go rogue?
Not exactly. He's still working within the system, but he's definitely bending the rules.
Using his intuition?
Exactly, his gut and his understanding of human nature.
To outsmart his opponents.
He realizes that Alice's loyalty to her mother is her biggest weakness.
Right. Dorothy, the one who's been laundering the money.
Exactly. But how do you use that to your advantage?
That's a good question.
Well, he creates a scenario that makes it look like Dorothy is in danger.
Oh, clever.
He knows Alice's protective instincts will kick in. She'll have to act, even if it means exposing herself.
Risky move, though, isn't it? Putting Dorothy in harm's way.
It is, even if it's just a staged threat.
But it's a gamble Harry's willing to take.
He's betting that Alice's love for her mother will overpower her commitment to the mission, and it works.
Wow.
Alice takes the bait, rushing to protect Dorothy, and in doing so, she reveals herself to the authorities.
It's a brilliant trap.
It really is, but it's also kind of tragic. Because the same love that motivated Alice's betrayal ultimately leads to her downfall.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the world of spies, where logic and strategy are supposed to rule,
human emotions,
they can be the most potent weapon.
And the most dangerous weakness.
Speaking of unexpected turns, what about Yang Hu? We left her facing deportation.
Right. Did she actually leave the country?
What happened?
Turns out she's been playing a deeper game.
Oh, really?
The excerpts hint that she's been secretly working with Harry and his allies all along.
Wait, so the enemy agent
is a double agent.
Working against her own side? That's a huge twist.
But why would she do that?
Yeah, what's her motivation?
I think it's a mix of things. Disillusionment with the MSS.
She's seen some things.
She's seen the corruption, the brutality. She senses that she's expendable, that her own side might turn on her.
And maybe?
Maybe she admires Harry.
In a way.
His unorthodox methods, his willingness to fight for what he believes in.
It's almost like she finds a new purpose in helping him expose the truth.
Even if it means betraying her own organization.
It's a powerful story of redemption.
It really is.
So Alice is exposed, the conspiracy is dismantled, justice prevails.
In a way, yes, the bad guys are brought down, but victory comes at a price.
What do you mean?
Well, it's not explicitly stated, but it's heavily implied that Yang Hu's father ends up dead.
Oh, no.
Because of her involvement in exposing Alice.
That's heartbreaking.
It's a tragic reminder that even when you're fighting for a just cause, there can be unintended casualties.
Espionage isn't a game.
It's not. It has real-world consequences, and sometimes innocent people get hurt.
So even though there's a sense of closure with Alice being caught, we're left with some unanswered questions.
Yeah, what happens to Yang Hu now?
She's burned bridges on both sides.
Will she find peace? Will she find freedom, or will she be haunted by her past?
And what about Harry?
He's disillusioned, but still driven.
Will he stay with British intelligence?
Or go rogue?
So many possibilities.
Bader leaves us with those questions to ponder. Defection doesn't give us easy answers. It challenges us to think about the complexities of loyalty betrayal and the choices we make when faced with impossible dilemmas.
What a journey this deep dive has been.
It really has.
Twists, turns, betrayals, alliances, all set against this backdrop of global power struggle.
Bader's Defection is a story that stays with you. It makes you think about the world in a different way.
If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Defection, we encourage you to check out the full novel.
There's so much more to explore.
And remember, in the world of espionage, nothing is what it seems.
Keep asking questions.
Challenge the narratives.
And be wary of anyone who claims to have all the answers.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Defection.
Until next time.